Right, we're back, chat. Thank you for the review. No problem. That's what I'm here for. So up next should be Fake Queen, who is a Masters Mercy player, and after that we'll do New Yorkshire. Right, let's just get right into it. Let me get the code, and the description reads: I was kinda lost. I was kinda lost with our Bastion and didn't know when to go pocket him or go to the rest of the team. How could I have gotten more value from these fights? Okay. So to begin with, there's Bastion. No, I don't want to say Bastion has changed a lot because Bastion hasn't changed a lot. But the way Bastion is played has changed a lot, right? While pocketing Bastion is good, and you have like a really good Bastion team, like double shield, to just pocket the Bastion and whatnot. If he plays with a team and everything, then this can be pretty good. Bastion does like a lot of damage by himself while in turret form, right? You can boost the damage he does, but like they are not really playing a comp that has double shield or something to compete against it. Like if you at this rank, especially at like high, I think you said they're like 3800, so you're like mid to high masters. At this rank, especially, like you need to change your style depending on your win condition. And your win condition is not I'm gonna just pocket Bastion and break their shields because they don't have shields. So your Bastion doesn't really need pocketing at this point. You just let these two go down main, Bastion goes with them or does damage or tries to get one of their tanks, right? And you can just pocket your Ashe. Especially because Ashe is gonna need the pocket to win against the Wither. Like, out of this, it's a very clear and cut. You just pocket the Ashe most of the time. Just damage boost Ashe most of the time and it's fine. This is fine, you're just damage boosting. You are taking cover, which is good. Your team is gonna get pooped. Yep, there goes the Bastion and the Orisa. Not your fault, of course, but that's sad to see. Hey, your Ashe would not have gotten this pick if you were not pocketing her, right? Because she just doesn't do enough damage. And your Sigma. It's still a lost fight, like very clearly a lost fight because everyone in your team got pooped. But your Ashe got like big value. Like we can just reset, and this Widow is not going to come back in time, right? Topping of the Ashe, topping of the Ana is really good from you. Yep. Damage boost, damage boost. Again, you don't need to worry so much about the Bastion, because Bastion still does 450 damage per second while in turret form. And none of them can really withstand that. Like, again, if they have like a Rhine shield, a Sigma shield 2, or a double shield with Orisa Sigma, or maybe just a Sigma shield, or an Orisa shield, or a Rhine shield, if they had any shield, I'll be like, okay, you can pocket the Bastion for a little bit to break the shield faster, right? Because taking going from 150 to 30% is like 120, 135, so it's like 585, it's almost 150 damage. It's very meaningful. Like you can break a Sigma shield in like 1.2 seconds, or a Monkey or an Orisa shield in like 1.3 seconds, right? It's pretty meaningful if you're shooting shields, but when like they don't have a shield, like that damage boost doesn't do a lot. Ashe is a much better target, yeah. Too long, didn't read. Bastion in turret form is probably not your biggest concern, unless you're playing to like win the shield war. And you want to make sure you're burning their shield faster than they can burn your own resources. Doesn't have to be shields, but your own resources, then pocketing Bastion's damage is really good to help you burn through those resources. But not in this case because the resources are basically defense matrix. And defense matrix is gonna hit all of the damage anyway. So don't worry so much about the Bastion. Just go with Ashe. Okay, you did go out a little in the open, but it's okay. Damage boost because you can heal them. Now you heal them, that's good. Solid, your Ashe is going for the flank, which is good. Top of the Ana, really important. Though, I will say, when you are on attack and your Ana is under no threat, she can just use the payload to heal, so you don't have to worry about it as much. You can just keep pocketing Ashe. Because the payload heals you 30 healing per second. when you're an attack and close to the payload. So if she's not under immediate danger, like in this case, you can just let it go and be like, okay, she can just use the payload and stay with your Ashe. Really good kill from your Ashe. Your Ashe is getting some value, like she's being hitting pretty decent shots. Okay, yeah, you right-click Ashe because... Funny little piece of trivia, even if you are not directly damage boosting Bob, if you damage boost Ashe, during the time she shoots Bob and after, you will get the extra damage. Like if, let's see, like she throws Dynamite, you are damage boosting her to Dynamite, right? You can see that Bob is maybe hitting them and you're getting takes out of Bob. See? Like, that was not Dynamite. I don't think at least it was Dynamite. That was just Bob doing damage and you were getting the ticks. Okay, this is okay, just making sure your Ashe is playing in the open a little bit, like she should be a little closer to cover. Because she can just get shot. But that's not your fault, right? You are playing correctly here, just using cover and pocketing your Ashe. That widow just missed your Ashe set. Okay, yeah. And this was... I will say, they do have like a lot of people right here. So this could get you killed very easily. I would not be surprised, in fact, if he got you killed. But it's not too bad. At the very least, you will be drawing something away from your team, right? So it's not... And if you get the rest, of course, it's just a free win. So it's not bad. I would expect you to die from this though, because they just have a lot of mobility and like a lot of people. Like the withers are already coming for you. And of course they know that you are there, so it's likely you're gonna go for the rest. It's just a very predictable rest. Very predictable rest. I'll not be surprised if you get you killed. Good dodging, but yeah, your Ashe just dies again. And I would not be surprised if you die here, yeah. But your team caps. Because so many people actually came for you, your team caps. So again, wasn't a bad rest, just you have to be aware that when you're going for something like that, you can get killed, especially because they are gonna know you're there. You were pocketing Ashe until that second. But your team gets value anyway, by just taking the point. Pocketing Ashe is fine. That's far you've been doing pretty good, other than, you know, the odd peek out of cover too much, which you've only done a couple times. Then fine. The rest worked out, even though it wasn't like the best rest. Like, it wasn't bad. Just, you know, words are not coming to my head. You have to be aware that they're probably gonna try to stop it. Pocketing Ashe is fine. You don't need to pocket Bastion. See, it's going for the high ground. Oh, there's a Widow behind you. Okay, well, I don't think he was going for the Widow, but he did get the Widow. Good vibe though. Just summon your team slow, your Sigma slow, you just bulk, and it's an ultimate you can use to secure a fight, so that's pretty good. You don't need to heal Orisa right now, just nano Orisa, just damage boost the Orisa. Careful about the lava. Okay, you do still go through the lava. Be really careful about the lava, but it's fine. This should be a one team fight. Your team is good. Worse. Your team is doing good overall, though. Like, you top of your Ana. Don't. Okay, careful about the lava. Overall, I feel like your team is just kinda, I don't want to say rolling, but they are doing pretty good. Which it is 3800. I would not expect like big mistakes. Using cover, that's fine. Damage boosting Ashe. Your Ashe again is playing in the open a lot. Okay, we got the payload even. Like, yeah, they're all running through, but that's fine. You top of your Bastion. He's just gonna die. You should go for the rest though. Like, your whole team is here. And the enemy is right here, right? So, if you were like, hey, I'm gonna assume like at 3800, people are in comms, just tell them, hey, block, or like someone is gonna block if you just say, I'm going for the rest. And if you just go for the rest here, you can fight again 6v6. Because right now you're 5v6, rather 6v5. But getting this rest, like, it's not free, But you've got two people who can block it for you. Like, Orisa's shield is off. She actually just threw it. Sigma has the grasp and the shield. So if you just go, okay, I'm gonna go for the rest. Someone is gonna be like, okay, well, we'll block it for you. Actually, are you going for the rest? Oh, you're not going for the rest. You should have gone for the rest. Now you're going for the rest? That's very weird. Like, by this point, like, your team doesn't have the resources to kill you. And your Ash dies, yeah. You should have gone for the rest earlier. Hi, Lexa. Okay, just top of your Sigma, and that's fine. Yep. So I feel like you've been doing really good. You've made lapses of judgment every now and then, but like picking out, it didn't get you killed, right? Which may seem like I'm harping on it, but like picking out that way, well, they have a Widow who just got a headshot. Scrap. It's not gonna get you killed, but it's dangerous, right? Like when you can just stand here. This rest was again okay, but you got to know you're gonna die, and you should have just rested Bastion. But I feel like otherwise, outside of those moments where you don't seem you seem a little lost, you're doing pretty good. Heal your Ash, okay, your Ash dies. Not restable probably because their Widow is on window. Yeah. And they use Sides too. You could rest that though. Fight's probably lost, but it's good to try. And they just delete your Orisa. That Widow just got like 5 kills this fight. Use the Ash. Kills Diana. Kills the Orisa. Kills the Bastion. Oh, and Dalmos kills your Ash again. Anywho, that was a close fight. Yep, just get topped off again. Wait for your whole team. And I say wait for your whole team because 2 are coming back. But I'll be honest, like, you can just Valk and go at the Widow. Like, if the Widow is being a problem at this point, just Valk and go, yeah, that's fine, just go at the Widow. You top off the Bastion, you should go at the Widow. Maybe not, it's fine, but I would have gone at the Widow. High level Merciful, yeah. Like, they're actually doing the right healing and damage boosting most of the time, which is pretty impressive. This Valk even is fine. Like, right click damage boost all the way. You get 2 kills thanks to it. And I would have loved it if you went for the Widow, but I'm not gonna say it's the best thing to do. Like, you obviously got a ton of value out of it. Just fun. Yep, good kills. Damage boosting is fine. You should have not gone through the open here. It's still fine, but be careful when you're flying through the open, because they can... Well, they have a Hanzo now, not a Widow. But you should be careful when you know that they have a good Widow, or a good sniper that can just pop your head when you go through the open. Your Sig is dead, maybe you can go to rest him? Maybe he dies. Never mind, you can't go rest him. Okay, your Ash gets deleted, and this is now a last fight. You could have stayed with your Ash, healing her. You got distracted by your Orisa, and then she died for it, but it was probably a lost fight anyway. And she may have died anyway too. Just, you're trying to get your team out, which is fine. Damage boosting Bastion is okay, because hey, no Ash right now. Topping Orisa off, and again, you're doing really good. I feel like outside of those small lapses in judgment, good rest. Like, your gameplay is fine. Top of your Sigma, yep. Keep topping off your Sigma. Yep, solid. Go to the Ash. Bastion's dead, you don't have rest yet. You pop back, and again, this is a good time to use Valk. It's not a super one fight, but we have a ton of damage, so it may be winnable. Yeah, definitely winnable. You could go for a res here too after this. Good res. And you... Oh, you don't save your Ash, you get Sunlight, but... probably not the right time to pull out your pistol. Let's ban those. Ban... That one. Ban... That one. Bots. Probably not the best time to pull out your pistol. You should have stayed like damage boost your Ash, damage boost your Orisa at least. But again, it's a very small mistake. I'm not gonna count that as a mistake. You are just like 1 second of not doing the right thing. Stopping at the open, like you have done this a couple times right now, where you just get a little lost and then out walking into the open. Damage boosting Ash is good there. And we should have this? Like, they trans, but like, he's the only one left, right? Like, this is just cleanup. So, so far, your team has been, I don't want to say rolling, but doing really good. Like, you finish Rialto. Good damage boost on the Sigma. It's not gonna affect the slam, but doing 80 damage, well, it's not 80, it's like 70. But doing more damage on the lift off is better, of course. More likely that they die when they come down. Yeah, you finish Rialto with like 1 minute and 30 left. That's pretty good at this rank, like. How does this go wrong? I like this, by the way. I know you know, just for someone, for anyone in chat who's watching it. Not beaming Ash to not give her away when he picks is really good. Damage boost, then she just gets shot anyway. Because your Ash has been doing this, like, she's poked out of cover way too much. Pain. Like, way out of cover, way further than she should have. Res is good. Okay. You're probably gonna die. Oh, don't go in a straight line. This is definitely your fault. You could have survived here. But you need to make yourself harder to hit. Like, the rest is of course good. Like, you've got to go for it. You're probably gonna die if you don't go for it. But like, you just walk in a straight line. Like, you jump here and he can still shoot you, and you're just moving in a straight line away from him. No crouch, no more jumping, no more anything. You just walk in a straight line. So that was your fault. I think that's your first quote-unquote big mistake. Yeah, your team just gets deleted. Their Widow gets another kill, which is... Their Widow's pretty good. But yeah, that death is definitely your fault. And maybe with you, your team could have survived longer. Get your Sigma. He's very, very low. Down. He was probably gonna die anyway, but prioritize your Sigma. In that case, he was low. Yeah, and their Widow just cleans up, so we get out. You're actually staying for way too long here, but you're sticking with the Ash because that's the best thing you can do. You got the Rhine now, which is interesting. Careful. Careful with sides. You are a little in the open. Yep, you are in the open. I've said this before. You are playing a little in the open. You're trying to use the pillar for cover, but it's pretty easy to get around that. You can just either play inside and use the beam's distance to be safe inside. Or you can even use like the actual bridge. Like just get line of sight on someone, then drop below the bridge on one of the boats and be safer on this side, right? You jump to the open again. Oh, don't do this. He just used Visor. Yeah, you just die. That's a big mistake. So that's 2 fights. This one's not entirely. It was probably not winnable anyway. But that death is definitely your fault. You just flew straight into a visoring soldier. So that's 2 deaths you could have prevented. Good kill. Like, again, the biggest time to pocket Bastion is when he's actually in rotation, in recon form. Because when he started, he already does enough damage. They have a Sigma now, but it's still usually not enough to just have a Sigma. Sigma shield is gonna get broken like 1.3 seconds. And yeah, he's got the grasp, but grasp is gonna eat all of the damage no matter how much it is. So usually the best time to poke at Bastion while in recon form. Unless you are playing for that win condition of we are just gonna burn all of their shields. You help your team, that's fine. Probably shoot top of your Sigma. He's outside of your Ana's line of sight right now. Ashe is also good. Please top of your Sigma. He gets nanoed instead. So a little bit of a waste of nano. But mostly because your Ana didn't really have the best talent to Sigma. He goes overly aggressive. He's gonna need more healing. And you, back to you. Decent damage boost, like... You could be helping Ashe instead. Like, again, Bastion doesn't really need your help that much. Right now, well, he dies, okay. Just go back to your team. What are you? Just drop to the right. Just drop to the right. Heal the Ana, heal the Ashe. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Sometimes you get a little lost. Like, you are poking in the Bastion died, and you are like, do I go for the rest? Do I go back? Do I pull out the pistol and do the weather? What do I do, right? I feel like when someone breaks your chain of thought by just killing someone in your team, or you are just a little lost. Which is how you got, like... Same here, right? You were pocketing the Ashe, and I guess you were just like, what do I do? I'm gonna bulk and go for the rest, and forgot that soldier was still visoring? Drop behind for mines. Top of your Ana. Damage boost Ashe is good. She's dead. Go for the rest. I'm okay with this rest. I'll be honest, you're very likely to die here. But if you get the rest, it's probably worth it. Yeah, you just die for it. But I think the rest was worth it, I'll be honest. With Ashe and Bob's damage and Bastion, it's probably enough damage that, yeah, you just win the fight. So I think that rest was good. Even though you died for it. Sometimes dying is fine if you press someone who can, I don't say, bring more value to the fight. But in that case, like, we had just used Bob. Nothing you can do about those kills. Just get out. Top of the Ana, really good. You could, yeah, I was gonna say, you could put Valkyrie here to sustain your team. To help sustain your team. Oh, and now that you have a Roadhog, one thing you could be looking for is to damage boost the hooks. You don't have an Ashe anymore, so yeah. One thing you could be looking towards is damage boosting hooks. The Roadhog in general does a pretty reasonable amount of damage, so he's not a bad damage boost target. But especially when he gets like a hook on a tank, or someone who may not just die right away, like, I don't know. They don't have anyone that... If they have maybe like a Genji or a Reaper especially, or maybe a Doomfist who can have shields, damage boosting Roadhog gets you a lot of value when he gets those hooks, because those people may survive otherwise, and if you make sure that he can just kill them immediately, then they will not. Good job though, like staying with cover and doing Valkyrie. Pretty solid. I don't think you had to go back to the Bastion there, but it's okay. And this is the one thing I'll tell you. You should not worry about Tracer, like... Okay, please. You should not worry about Tracer. Like, Tracer... Yeah, she can somewhat benefit during Valkyrie from your damage, but other than that, Tracer usually plays by herself, maybe with a little extra healing from the Ana. But you don't want to be near Tracer. She's gonna flank, she's gonna be really far away from you. She can use health packs, she can get a little healing from the Ana. She's got recall, of course, too. Her team is pushing a little too far forward again. Which is not your fault, but... If you're in, again, if you're in comms, you should tell your tanks, hey, your Bastion's holding all the way back here. It's not bad though, like, you should be in cover again. But, other than that, okay. Stay in cover, that's fine. You should heal your Sigma. He just walks into a mine. You can probably rest that. Yeah. You get nano. That's actually a really good play. Like getting nano to make sure you don't die during the rest is really good. Like bringing your Sigma back is really good. Wait, the what? Oh! Oh, you don't die. Nano actually saved your life there, by the way. So this is another mistake that could have cost you your life. But Nano actually saved your life because you took less damage. Like, good Nano, I think it's fine. Nano needing the Mercy to get the rest off. But like, why do you just jump out there? Just stay here. You are Nano. You're not gonna die. You can just play from here, if anything. And you basically get jumped into a mine, which does 75 damage because you are Nanoed. Then another one that does 75. You would be so dead were it not for this Nano. Oh, you're gonna die to this instead. Now he gets hooked. So your life got saved twice there by your teammates. And we do win this fight, right? Yeah. And that's again just you. I feel like you're sometimes zoning out a little bit. And when you are zoning out a little bit, you're making these mistakes of just going into the open, right? Mostly just going into the open or leaving yourself exposed. Okay. Topping off your tanks when you got nothing else to do is fine. Staying near your Anna's house are good. This is okay, your Bastion's doing nothing this fight though. Like the fact that he's here and the enemy team is fighting over here means that he's just in a really bad position. This is decent though, like Sigma and Roadhog are both decent to pocket. They're not the best, but Roadhog is fine, Sigma is also okay, hits consistent damage. You should not be doing this though. Like, you can see that you are literally getting no value because your Bastion is not in a place where he can get value. Like, even now, he's not getting a ton of value, like, he's shooting at the flags does. How do you play a Tracer versus McCree, Hogan, and Mercy peeling for their Ana in a Brawl comp? By specifications, that's not a little tilted about a previous game. You play very, very safe. Because this is what I'll say. If you got, like you said, let me just draw. A McCree, right? A Mercy, a Hog, and an Ana, and they are all looking at you when you engage, well, the rest of your team is playing, you have the program, okay, the rest of your team is basically playing like 5v2, right? 5v2. So what you have to do is just wait for the right timing, wait until your team is pushing forward, and when your team is close enough, like if you have a Ryan, for example, when your team is close enough to their front line, then you can go in from the back line, and if you distract like 2 people during the fight, that's like really, really good for Brawl. And since they're playing like Hog, Ana, and McCree, I imagine they have a little bit of a Brawly comp as well. So the more people you can distract when your team gets close, the better it is, right? Going in by yourself is not gonna get you like any value. You can stay like very far away and try to poke them for a little damage at like 20 meters away. But it's gonna be difficult for you to get like picks unless you find isolated targets. Isolated targets, really good. But the key to playing Tracer with Brawl is distracting people. If you can distract someone from the actual fight doing Brawl, you can give your team that much of an advantage because you're basically leaving them 5v4, right? For a couple seconds, like 2 or 3 seconds, but usually that's all you need. So it's a lot about waiting for the best timing for the engagement rather than, you know, going in and getting picks. So you just need to get timing at the right time. Anywho, you're back to this review. Sorry, the Queen. Yeah, your Bastion got no value, and you pocketing the Bastion this entire fight got no value. So that's definitely something you should take into account. Like, if your Bastion is playing here, and your team is fighting here, then you should be trying to get value, like standing here down or around the corner, right? Like you did the previous fight. And this is just lost at this point, right? Yeah. No problem, Nexa. Okay, just top off is fine. Back out, she's just dead, get out. I'm not gonna say it's all on your team having a Bastion, but if your Bastion is in a bad position and you're pocketing him, then instead of just not getting value, instead of only one person not getting value through the fight, it's two people, right? You try to heal your Rogue, which is fine, he's very low and discorded. You should probably back here early, like now would be a good time. Just walk, just use it. Good. Damage, heal a little bit. Okay, so big thing, Bastion's not gonna die anymore. Just heal, like you got 3 people here, very important you heal them, they are all taking a lot of damage. That's good. Oh, you should not be going back for Bastion. I know he looks dangerous, but he's nano. So just stay to your team. If, like, maybe if your soldier had survived, like he could have survived if you just stayed with him. Like, let me look how much damage he takes. Oh, no, he would not have survived, I can guarantee that. Sorry, let's go back. But Bastion is probably still not the right thing to focus on. Like, your Sigma and your Roadhog are basically fighting right now. You also cross again, you are doing this a lot, where you cross a dangerous area. In this case, a little dragon to, maybe just because you are zoning out a little bit or thinking about something else. Save your Sigma. Save your Sigma. No, save your Sigma. I know there's a rest right here, but you should definitely focus on saving your Sigma. Sigma may win you this fight. He's like 82 ult, and he's like your main tank. Not literally, but he's the one holding most of the time. So I think saving your Sigma would have been better. He's also way out of line sight of Urana. Then your Bastion dies during ult because he goes too aggressive, and it's probably not lost, but losable. If your Sigma was alive though, he could have won this. I'm not saying he would have, but we could have, because he could have charged his ultimate. Then maybe Bastion would have gotten value too. Unfortunate though. And it's just a matter of that those specific moments where I think your train of thought gets interrupted by like someone killing the soldier. Them shooting the dragons at the Bastion, and you're like, oh, I need to heal him, right? And you just go through the dragon and stop healing your team, or you being like, oh, the soldier is dead, I need to rest the soldier. I'm not realizing that your Sigma needs help right now. But I think that outside of those moments, your play has been actually really good.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Stop playing in the open though. Like, you've done this a couple of times of just staying in the open, or not even staying in the open, just going out in the open where you're doing something, even just a little bit. And their sniper player has been like really good. So again, who should you pocket? Rank is actually a really good one when he's close. Bastion is okay. Like now we have at least a shield to break at least, and Ryan's gonna be brawling. So it's actually pretty decent when you've got like a brawl comp if Bastion is doing a lot of damage around the Rhine. Widow's also decent. Like a Widow headshot does 300 damage and 390 with your pocket. So you could put a lot of pressure even on tanks while just pocketing Widow too. Especially because your Widow is shooting right now and your Bastion is not, right? I think you were trying to go for it, just missed. And then when you go for it, she's getting out. Good kill. You heal the Bastion, which is fine. That's okay. Your Rhine is help, Careful, don't stand in the open. I'm gonna say it again, you're just standing in the open where you're zoning out. Were you going for the Widow Res? Like, your Widow gets taken out, again. By their sniper, which is really good. I feel like you were maybe going for the Widow? Because you went this way and looked at the Widow? But then you just walked forward to your team. If you were just going for your Widow, I'm okay with you crossing this. And then like hiding, crouching behind it and try to get the rest. But you just go back towards your team. Which is, again, just by being in the open. You take all of the damage and die. So I feel like that's already 3 or 4 times you could have avoided death. Also, you could have avoided death by going the other way to your Rhine shield. He actually tried to protect you. And you jumping away actually got you killed by the sun. But yeah, I feel like that's the 3rd or 4th time you are just dying or taking unnecessary risks. There's been a few times you've died because of this, but a lot more where you just take an unnecessary, I don't say risk, but like make a bad decision like staying in the open or picking that way when you are zoning out. Just don't put yourself at risk. Or when you try to rest the Ashe. Like, why did you try to rest the Ashe in front of an ulting soldier? And you used Valkyrie for it too, so you lost an ultimate, right? So I overall feel like sometimes something just breaks your train of thought and you're like out of it. And you should probably just work on that a little bit. Like, prioritize staying alive more than anything else. So that you don't do those things for like, well, I'm just gonna go for it. And or just go in the open. That's probably a decent rest. Yeah. Like Sigma. Zarya would be a good one to pocket here. Your Zarya takes a lot of resources and she can push forward with some charge and do a lot of damage. Already got 1 kill. Tracer is not that good. She's not bad. Like, if your Tracer is shooting at the front line like this, she's not a bad target. She does decent damage. But it only comes down to 120 DPS because of her reload time. So this is why she's not playing on the front line a lot. Her actual DPS is very low, but her burst damage is really high. Which is also why she's not that good to pocket, right? Because Tracer does 240 damage a clip. So in 1 second, she can do 240, but then she's got to reload for 1 second. So it averages out to 120. That said, if you are looking at the Tracer at the right time, like when she's shooting, you can take that 240 to like 30%, so 24 times 3, 60, 72, 312 damage, which is a pretty decent one, but you need the perfect timing of, well, I'm pocketing the Tracer, damage pushing Tracer, while she's shooting, and then you are not while she goes for the reload. So it can be really difficult, but in theory, if you just pocket the Tracer while she's emptying her clip into someone, she can do more damage. But overall, especially when she's just shooting at the front line, it's not gonna get you that much more value than like a Zarya. So I would just stay with the Zarya. And this is not good. Like, he even popped his ultimate. You should just focus on the Zarya. Forget about Bastion, just focus on the Zarya. Like, you got 2 tanks that are pretty decent to focus, and again, Bastion only needs your pocketing when he's in recon form, really. Unless the plan is like double shield break them, but that's no longer the plan. Once more you cross to the dragon, almost die to it and then save your life, and we Sig-9 them. Really good on your Sigma. Your Zarya could have stayed alive, by the way. With like any healing, your Zarya would have survived. I think you were actually going for her when you tried to cross, yeah. But like just stay with your Zarya from the beginning. Good Sig-9 from your Sigma though. This is very winnable. But yeah, overall, I feel like the biggest thing is those moments where you just disconnect and end up just defaulting to, oh, Bastion, I just pocket Bastion, right? Or, oh, Res, I go for the Res. Which is, it's not terrible, but it's definitely something you could work on. And making sure you are making the right decisions at most times would help you, even if, you know, something goes, something doesn't go as planned. Now they got double shield, so this is where you could be like, okay, Now I just right click on the Bastion even during turret farm to, well, break their shields. Because we have double shield and they have double shield. So now the plan could be, you just right click the Bastion. And heal the Bastion. And be careful about the Hanzo. Okay, your Bastion's dead. Not your fault though. You could even go for this rest. Like your Tracer is going into for the recontest. You could go for the rest. Like top of the Ana, then go for the rest. Now go for the rest. Like Tracer is contesting the Hanzo. So you can go for the rest. You don't go for the rest, which is unfortunate. Tracer even kills the Hanzo. So you could have definitely gone for that rest. Heal your Sigma. Stop poking through the open. Okay, that's good. Don't poke through the open. Like, I'm seeing, like, I'm gonna go back a little bit here. Like, pretty solid, but at some points where you're moving left and right, you can still be shot through here, right? Like, right there. And they have a Hanzo now. Right now, too, like... Number 7. So be careful about when you're poking, because if you just stood here, you'll be fine. Like, Hanzo's above you, so he can't get you. No one can shoot you this way if you just stand here. Your Bastion does die, but good rest. Heal your Sigma, heal your Sigma. Okay, good heal, good heal. Don't cross to the open. You could have died here. Your Tracer killing the soldier is pretty solid, but you doing this again could have gotten you killed by the Visor. It's the second time you would have done that. And then you just go for it again and get killed by the Hanzo instead. Like, you were in a safe position. And I feel like this is actually just a really good example of the whole thing in general. Like, you're just like, oh, I need to go to my Ana. I'm gonna Guardian Angel to the Ana, even though there was a Visor going on. And your beam can definitely not quite get this range, but you can just like take a step forward, get the beam, then walk back. And if you connect the beam and then go back, it will actually, and I'll show you this in a moment, it will actually stay with the target for a moment. But you like go across, putting your life at risk because of the soldier, and then you go back, like you could have just stayed here and healed the Ana. You go back and heal the Ana, you know, getting value here. I know you just were looking at the Bastion, but still. Like, you know there's a Hanzo here, he just killed your Bastion, and you rest him. So why are we risking going across once, twice?
The wonders of modern medicine.
10 seconds.
Don't peek like this. If you die here, I'll be very upset. Because you're 95 to Valkyrie, and you could have gotten Valkyrie by just healing your Sigma a little bit, and then going with Valkyrie if anything. But like, you could have died there very easily, like, all of them were in front of you, and you had Discord. You had Discord, right? No, you didn't have Discord, they don't have a sun. It was just a rock. But you put your life at risk again. And I think it is because you were thinking, oh, maybe I can get Valk and go touch, but... And getting back and going touch is definitely the right call, just don't risk your life before, because if you had died there, it would have been really unfortunate. Good heal on the Diva, she uses Mech anyway, back to damage boost. Their hands are just melting everything though, because of, you know, all of the pocket. Good Sigma out though. It's maybe winnable. Pushing the Hanzo here is fine. The Hanzo, the Bastion. Heal your Sigma though, heal your Sigma though. Okay. Yeah, their Hanzo just farmed the... He had 2 dragons in one fight, basically. Good touch, but yeah, we're losing this. So, again, like, you played pretty well, but sometimes you had, like, those... I don't want to call them distractions, but interruptions to your train of thought, and that led to bad decisions a lot of the time. Like, peeking through the open, going through the open, going for a rest in the open. And it's mostly going to be about you going in the open and dying. Because that's what I think the one thing you could work on, where your train of thought get in what are words, right? When your train of thought gets interrupted, you end up going for very either weird or bad plays and very risky stuff too. So you should just play a little bit safer when you are figuring out what you do, right? Because with Mercy, you can still stay around corners and get value rather than, oh, I should probably go for the touch, but I don't have Volk yet, and then I go. Just stay here, heal your Sigma, then go, for example. The other thing I wanted to show you, which I can actually show you, is the beam thing, which I'm sure you know. It's just a reminder to use it because it's actually really good. Where you can
I'll be watching over you. There's no prescription to treat
be at like max range with the beam. Hey, hold on, let me go all the way back. Like, I'm holding left click. You can see I'm holding left click. I'm going to go forward until it connects. And it should connect about now. Now. There you go. But you can go back. And the beam will not break for a little bit, right? Your range going back is a little bit further for a few moments. So you can just connect the beam, go back, then keep it connected, go back, keep connected, go back, right? You don't have to stay within the max range beam. But if you are just topping off someone, going back will keep connected for like a second and a half, which is like 80 to 90 healing. But you can do that if you don't want to stay in the open, for example, and you need to get someone. You can just be like, oh, like Anna across, Anna's right across the choke, I just take a step forward, get the Anna, then heal her, then maybe take another step forward, right? To reset it. And then you keep resetting it. And it's a lot safer than just, hello Anna. But yeah, I feel like that's not the biggest thing, that's just a small thing you could do that I didn't see you do. Which would have helped you in that particular situation, but the biggest thing is definitely you just going out in the open a lot like this, right? Even when you're healing, you can just pick around the corner, right? And if you just get line of sight again, it will keep connected for like 2 seconds. So you can just be like, rather than just this, or just going in the open while you crossing the open or going into the open where you get your train of thought interrupted. Okay, I'll take another 3-minute break and then we'll come back with what I think is gonna be the last one for today, and Nyokshire. But we'll be right back, chat.